I live in Greece, and over the past couple of years, I've watched AI take over advertising and broadcast media.
Βλέπεις τον καθημερινό σου καφέ σαν μια μεγάλη επιβράβευση.
Τα έχω προγραμματίσει όλα.
Κοιμόμαστε από τότε που υπάρχουμε.
Κοιμάμαι. Άρα υπάρχω.
It started right around the time AI got good at images. At the beginning, it was mainly print ads and logos for small businesses, but now with the ability to produce video, AI is absolutely everywhere. At this point, you'd have to be either too old or out of the loop to not notice. This is a real commercial on air right now. It's for a well-known cheese company, and if someone told me the boss's 12-year-old kid made it, I wouldn't be surprised at all. As a viewer, it's funny to watch, but it's obvious that this thing needed a few more rounds of quality control. The couple at the beginning is one of the highlights of the commercial. It looks like they're sword fighting with a ladle and a baguette. I have no clue what the intention of this shot is, but it's absolutely hilarious. They like this shot so much that they used a variation of it moments later. Notice how the baguette transforms into two giant breadsticks, I guess. And notice the lady's hands. The ladle completely disappears from one hand and magically reappears in the other. Of course, it goes without saying, if the main action is this badly done, you can only imagine what happens in the background. There are two faucets in the exact same place. One goes inwards and the other one outwards. Scale is also all over the place, with the food and pack shots being either too big or too small. But I think my favorite shot is this one. This is the perfect example of how little care went into this commercial. Just look at the cheese label jumping all over the place. I'm almost certain the person who worked on this didn't know how to track a shot and basically placed keyframes manually, which only reinforces my suspicion that this was made by a 12-year-old. Let me show you a couple more gems. This commercial is a little bit more competently done, but of course, you cannot escape the AI look. Papadopoulou is a big food company in Greece, best known for its biscuits and baked goods, so it's not a random small business that has no budget to work with. From the very first second, we can see all the typical AI signs. The painterly hair is the first one that jumps out, but the more we look at the small details, the weirder things get. On the backgammon board, the middle clasp on the side is completely messed up. It's supposed to look like this. The AI also seems to struggle rendering the straight lines of the board. The composition of the biscuits is super weird, and the chair has a split personality. It's supposed to be the typical white plastic chair we see everywhere in Greece in the summer, but at the same time it has these weird brown sides. Having the shots last only a couple of seconds certainly helps hide the issues, but even if you don't notice all the things wrong in the frame, you still get the feeling that something's off. The thing though that makes me laugh out loud every time I see the commercial is the humongous biscuits in the foreground. They look like they're made for giants. Just for reference, here's how they're supposed to look in real life, and here's how they look next to a real backgammon board. Having worked in advertising, this is a classic client request. I want my logo, or in this case my product, bigger. In pre-AI days, because this would involve work in post-production, and as a result extra money, the ad agency could keep the client under control that way. But now, with AI, all these horrible client requests are just seconds away. And because the budget is probably non-existent, no one really cares to argue with the client. The result is this brilliant pack shot. Compared to the next commercial though, this one is a masterpiece. It's surprising to me that this got approved. It has so many issues, I could probably spend a whole video pointing everything out. Moving on. This is a more recent commercial, so the visuals are better than the ones we've seen already, but we're still stuck in this painterly, generic stock footage look that AI is known for. It's interesting to watch these commercials back to back because you can clearly see how the technology has progressed. But it also gives you a pretty good idea of what it feels like to watch commercials in Greece right now. After a while, everything blends together. You don't know when one commercial ends and another one begins. At least with this commercial, it looks like the post-production studio spent some time putting the visuals together. I'll give them that. Of course, that doesn't mean the commercial is free of AI glitches. Whenever I come across one of these AI commercials, I always make a point of checking out the company's earlier work, just to see the evolution, or rather, the devolution. And in most cases, it's always the same story. Their newer AI commercials look so much worse than their earlier work. This commercial, for example, comes from the same company, but was produced 3 years ago. The concept is nothing groundbreaking, but at least visually you can see the production value. There's great lighting, nice compositions, there's skill involved. The people who worked on it clearly spent time putting everything together. But of course, a commercial made by actual people costs a lot more than spending a day or two prompting an AI. AI in Greece is not just limited to advertising, it's also used in game shows and even in news segments. This show, for example, often uses AI images as content for its game segments. This I'm fine with. Even though the visuals don't look good, it's a game show that needs to source a ton of images that fit their segment, and that's not always easy to do with stock footage. Where things start to get more questionable, though, is when AI is used in news coverage. In late June, a building in Athens collapsed after a nearby construction site failed to follow the right procedures. Within the same day, most TV stations had AI-generated animations of the collapse. Even though they all disclosed that the footage was generated with AI, those disclosures weren't always easy to catch. Some stations mentioned it verbally as the footage was playing back, but without any visual indication on screen. Others did have a graphic on screen, which sometimes was easy to miss, but without mentioning it verbally at all. Aside from the need for a clear standard that everyone in journalism should follow, did viewers really gain anything from watching these animations? So, knowing all that, why exactly am I feeling optimistic about the future of creatives and creative work in general? As you can see from all these examples, especially the ones from advertising, everything looks the same. And the more that happens, the more valuable it becomes to be different. Right now, companies in Greece prioritize cutting costs. But sooner or later, they will realize that if they look exactly the same as the competition, they risk losing their customers. Currently, there's no distinct branding, no real identity, nothing for people to connect with. And that's where creatives who can work with many other tools and not just AI will have a real advantage. That versatility won't just make you more in demand, it will also allow you to charge more for your work. Should you pay attention to the disruption AI is causing? Sure, but it shouldn't really keep you up at night. Let me give you another example that's a little bit more global and not just focused on Greece. Just a couple of days ago, Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9, released a new short made entirely with AI. Even though from a technical point of view it's very impressive, there's nothing there for the viewer. The cinematography is bad, there's no story, the acting is non-existent, there's just zero substance there. Of course, it's just a tech demo and things in the future will improve even more. But no matter how much the technology improves, you need more than that to make people want to engage with your stuff. At the moment, we're at the stage where companies are very excited to try out this new thing that will reduce their cost of operations, but completely forget that they also need to work on all the other aspects of a project, which is usually what happens when something new comes along. For example, when Photoshop introduced filters sometime in the 90s, people just went nuts with them. Filters were everywhere. It didn't matter if it made sense for their work or not. They just slapped every filter under the sun into their projects and called it done. The results, of course, were horrible. Once the novelty wore off, creators started using filters more skillfully and only when it made sense. This is where we are right now with AI. Everyone uses it because it's this hot new thing and it promises different things for different sets of people. So it's slapped everywhere even if it doesn't make sense. My guess is we have a few more years of that. And then AI will become just another tool in a creative's toolbox. We will start using the parts of the technology that work for us and discard the rest. Until then, things will probably suck, both for creatives and for audiences. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would say don't listen to the AI companies predicting that their product will take over the world. What we're experiencing right now is just a phase. We'll learn from it and we'll get past it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.